The NBA Conference Finals are here. In the East, we have the number one seed Miami Heat taking on the number two seed Boston Celtics. Out West, we have the number three seed Golden State Warriors taking on number four seed Dallas Mavericks. And the first of those matchups is going to be tonight with the game one of the Boston Celtics coming down here to Miami to take on the Miami Heat. And I am really excited for all four of these matchups and what it would mean for the teams if they were able to win the NBA championship. First, starting with the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler is somebody I've been a fan of for a long time now, and now being on the Heat, it's very convenient to have him as one of my favorite players. He's been moving around. This is his fourth team now, and he's not been able to find a home that can really fit the style of play he has. But Miami fits that perfectly. It'd be amazing for him to get that first championship, as well as for the Miami Heat. It proves that structure, defense, rebounding, all the things that are very important to a basketball team can still win you championships. We saw with the Brooklyn Nets, they really tried to abandon that, and they flopped out in the first round. So it'd be really cool to see that for the Miami Heat to win the championship. I also really like the Boston Celtics. I really like their young core, which has Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. They've been so close for like 5 years now. They had to go through LeBron before in the Cavaliers and couldn't quite get there. And then in the bubble, of course, against the same Miami Heat, had a really good tight series with him that saw him falling just short. Moved off Brad Stevens in last offseason, and they brought in Ime Udoka, who has had a great rookie head coaching year. And I'm really excited for the Boston Celtics. I'm really excited for this series for the Eastern Conference Finals. And then let's look at the Dallas Mavericks. I love Luka Doncic, only 23 years old, international player, has done a great job coming over to the NBA. His game is translated really well, which a lot of people had to worry about when he first entered the NBA. That has obviously not been an issue. Absolutely dominated the Phoenix Suns in Game 7, had the same amount of points as the Suns did as a whole in that first half of the Game 7. And also head coach Jason Kidd. This is his third head coaching gig. And if he were able to get to the NBA championship and, of course, win the NBA championship for a team he once played for with the Dallas Mavericks, it'd really be a great redemption arc for him as a head coach. And then, of course, there's the Golden State Warriors, who we all know they've had their rings. They have won 3 championships this decade or this last decade. And it'd be great for players like Klay Thompson, who has missed the last 2 years due to injury, coming back now. It'd be a great redemption for him and really be proving that the work that he put in these last few off seasons to get back, it would be great to see the emotion on his face when he realizes all the work he's put in has been worth it. And I really like how the Warriors have been able to rebuild and pivot off of losing Kevin Durant, who of course went to the Brooklyn Nets. We all know how it's turned out for him in Brooklyn, but now we can see if the Warriors get to the finals and win the finals, that they've done a perfect job to rebuild this team. So the first series that I like to focus on is the one that's going to be starting tonight with the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. These are two very well-coached teams that play great defense. They do all the little essentials like the rebounding, like the hustle effort, the great defense. And I really like to see this from both teams. Miami plays very gritty. They are very strong on the defensive end of things. You have players like PJ Tucker, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, who are always going to be up in your face, pushing you around, shoving. Even at times, if it's going to draw up the foul calls, they're not going to give up on that gritty style of play. And then you look conversely with the Boston Celtics. They also play, like I said previously, the same defense, and really the city as a whole with Boston. It's a very gritty city. It's a very grimy city. And these two of the best teams in the league this year. Boston has been one of the best teams in really NBA history, hasn't seen the success we've seen from them throughout their entire history recently. The last time they made the NBA Finals was back in 2010, where they lost Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers. So the Celtics have a really good opportunity here to finally get back to the finals and finally trying to get another ring to hang up in the TD Garden. To me, the most important player in this series is Jason Tatum. This team really goes where Jason Tatum goes. Jason Tatum's hot, the team's hot. He's cold, the team around him also starts to struggle. Jaylen Brown is a great player. However, he does seem to fold sometimes, especially in the playoffs, and he's not as easily reliable on as you are with Jason Tatum. He kind of reminds me a bit of Chris Middleton, where when Jaylen Brown's hot, he's a really good player, a great young forward in this league, but Jaylen Brown has a tendency to shrink, especially in the playoffs. The last time the Miami Heat made the NBA Finals was back, of course, just 2 years ago against this same Boston Celtics team in the Eastern Conference Finals. We remember that bubble season where we thought we were going to lose the season as a whole. The season comes back in the Orlando bubble, and the Miami Heat really came together and played a way that nobody really in the bubble played like. They really bonded together and had no interest in hanging out or doing all these extra amenities that was presented to them in the bubble. They're really there on a business trip, and that's really built the culture of this group of players to where they are now today, just one series away from again going back to the NBA Finals. Well, I said Jason Tatum is the most important player in this series, and I believe that is rightfully so, especially when you look at how Miami has handled some of the best players on the teams they've faced previously, being with the Atlanta Hawks, of course, how they handled Trae Young, really limiting him on the offensive side of things, double, sometimes triple teaming him as soon as he comes across half court. They did a great job with that. And then last series against the Philadelphia 76ers, once Joel Embiid did eventually come back, those first two games, Embiid got what he wanted. He was able to push around on the inside, rack up a lot of fouls for Miami, get inside, get points, and ultimately won the first two games when he came back in Philadelphia. However, Miami did a great job to continue the pressure, to continue to push him further away from outside the basket. So Miami did a great job at limiting Trae Young and then eventually limiting Joel Embiid. So they're going to have to really focus that in on Jason Tatum. However, Miami is equally dependent on Jimmy Butler. Throughout the playoffs up to this point, Jimmy Butler is averaging 29 points, 7.6 rebounds, 5.4 assists. We've seen other players on the Miami Heat, like Tyler Hero, hasn't had the best of starts to the playoffs. Max Strus is very streaky with his shots. Sometimes he's hitting, where you saw him hit 20 points the other day, but there's also some times where he's going like 1 for 8, 1 for 9, and you really want him to stop shooting. We really need Jimmy Butler to continue the production we've seen from him so far in the playoffs, especially with now that we know Kyle Lowry is going to be out at least game 1, re-injure that hamstring injury against the 76ers. So we have no idea when we're going to be getting Kyle Lowry back, and we have no idea how consistent the shots are going to be around Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. Looking at this series, especially as a Heat fan, I'm not going to sit here and say that I think the Heat are going to lose. I'm trying to put all my biases aside, but I can only do that so much as I'm literally recording this video wearing a Miami Heat jersey. I do think the Miami Heat are going to take the series. I have Miami winning in 6. Miami has done great on home court so far in the playoffs this year, has not lost a single game on home court this year. And I believe that the pressure and the defense we saw against stars like Trae Young, like James Harden, like Joel Embiid, I believe that will continue. The Miami Heat will try to do their best to limiting the good shots that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are able to get. So, like I said, I got Miami in 6, making their second finals appearance in the last 3 years. And then over in the West, we have the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks, the 3 versus the 4. The Mavericks have done a great job just to get in this position in the first place. The Mavericks right now are very reminiscent of last year's Atlanta Hawks team, where you have the young star. Last year, of course, the Hawks had Trae Young bowing in the Garden, fighting his way all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now you have the Mavs out West getting to the conference finals on the back of Luka. Luka did a great job in that Suns series, like I just mentioned, having 27 points in the first half, where the Suns had a total of 27 points in the first half. And not just Luka, that supporting cast for the Dallas Mavericks has been great. Jalen Brunson has really earned himself a big contract that he's going to be getting from some team in the offseason when he hits free agency. Spencer Dinwiddie didn't have the best of starts of the series against the Suns. However, in that game 7, the most pivotal game of the series, Spencer Dinwiddie did finish with 30 points. So the Dallas Mavericks are a very dangerous team that can get hot, can put up a lot of points, which they will need to against this Golden State Warriors offense. If the Mavericks were able to win this series, move on to the NBA Finals, this would be their 3rd finals appearance in the last 16 years. Of course, as Miami Heat fans, we know that the 2 previous times they made the NBA Finals would be in 2006, where Dwayne Wade and Shaq-led Miami Heat took care of business against the Dallas Mavericks, coming back in that series to defeat them. And then conversely, back in 2011, the Miami Heat lost to the Dallas Mavericks. Dirk Nowitzki got his 1 career ring. Mavericks also then came back themselves in that series to win against Miami Heat. So this would be the 3rd time in the last 16 years. And we do have the possibility of seeing a Heat Mavericks matchup, which would be really cool to see. And then we have the Warriors. We all know how the Warriors went on their fantastic run, going to 5 straight finals between the years of 2015 and 2019, winning the championship in 2015, 2017, 2018, the last 2 of those, of course, with Kevin Durant. They lost the finals in 2016 when they were up 3-1 after having the 72-9 season, lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron got the championship for Cleveland. And in 2019, when Kevin Durant went down with Achilles injury, Klay Thompson also went down. It was really just Steph Curry and the bench against Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors. The Raptors were able to take care of business there. So the Warriors went on a run of winning 3 championships in 5 years, which we are now seeing how difficult it is to go on deep runs into the playoffs. Giannis and the Bucks took care of business last year, win the NBA championship. However, you look at their portfolio of the last 5 years, there's been a lot of shortcomings and a lot of failures, and losing in Game 7 in the Eastern Conference semifinals, the Boston Celtics, I'm sure, be considered a failure by the Milwaukee Bucks. The Warriors last round had to battle a really good Memphis Grizzlies team. Originally, they had John Morant, and it was some really good battles. But then when John Morant went down, the Grizzlies continued to stride. The Grizzlies have had a great time of things, even without John Morant, winning around 80% of their games with John Morant missing. So that really doesn't hold their team back. And the Warriors did a good job of overcoming that, overcoming the young, excited, energetic team that Memphis provided to now bring us to this matchup between them and the Mavericks. Again, you guys know I also like the Golden State Warriors, so it's hard for me to say I'm 100% not biased, but I do genuinely believe that this series will go to Golden State, and I have them winning in 6 games. First of all, the Warriors do a great job at controlling the pace of play. They can play on the fast break. They play great in a half-court setup. A lot of off-ball screens. Steph Curry is running all over the court just to get his shot at the end of the shot clock. Klay Thompson plays great on both ends of the court, offense, defense. Some reporter called Steph Curry a two-way player the other day. We all know how he reacted to that. Draymond Green has been performing his role very well in the playoffs up to this point, and Jordan Poole emerging as the young superstar that he has shown to be in the playoffs so far. And then, of course, being head coach Steve Kerr, you have so much experience there. You have so many championships won by that collective group already. I think it's going to be too much. I think we're going to see very similar things we saw with the Hawks last year, where they did a great job to get themselves into the conference finals. They deserve their spot, and just the Mavericks have this year. The Mavericks have a great offensive supporting cast around Luka. They've been able to hit shots and be able to fight. They were down 2-0 against the Phoenix Suns, so I don't think they're just going to sit there and take it. I think they're going to have it. There's going to be a legitimate series here, but I do have it being Warriors in 6 as well as Heat in 6 to make it the Heat versus Warriors in the finals. I'm sorry, guys. If the Heat and the Warriors end up as the finals matchup, you're not going to be able to hear the end of it from me. I've never been able to experience something like this. My basketball teams have been the only teams that have consistently brought me happiness as a sports fan. Being a Dolphins fan, being a Marlins, Yankees fan, both teams let down in their own way. The Panthers are now good, and game 1 of the Panthers series against the Tampa Bay Lightning is going to be tonight. I would consider going to that game if the Panthers weren't 0-5 in playoff games that I've gone to, and I'm kind of broke, so won't be going to that game. We'll be watching on the couch as well as the game 1 of the Heat series tonight. But yeah, my sports teams usually let me down, and there hasn't been a lot to be excited about. But if I get a Warriors and Heat NBA Finals, that's going to be one of the most happy moments in my entire life. Who do you think will end up being the finals matchup? We have 4 great teams that have all deserved their spots to be where they're at. All great on the offense side of things. Miami, with Boston, with Dallas, with the Warriors. We have multiple combination of NBA finals that we can see. So please let me know down in the comments below, who do you think will make it to the NBA finals, as well as what player in the collected 4 teams are you most excited for them to try to either get their first ring, because we know there's multiple stars here that have yet to win that first ring, or let's say you're a Warriors fan. Which player on the Warriors are you most excited for? I'm, of course, most excited for Klay Thompson, all the work he's put in to get back to full health and all. But please let me know who you're excited for. Who do you think the finals matchup will be down below? Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I really love making this content for you guys, and this is a very small channel, of course, but I would love to see this channel continue to grow. I've seen the views start to slowly increase as I've made more and more videos. So thank you to those that have been watching me for a long time now. I'm very appreciative of that. So all the comments, all the likes mean a lot to me as this channel continues to grow. So thank you very much for all those who've been listening in, liking the videos and all. Thank you all. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.